The heart of every organization is its people. We're taking action to take care of them, to develop a world-class team, now and into the future. This is Empowering Excellence with Art and Frankie.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Empowering Excellence. I'm Art Starrett, your host, along with my co-host, the award-winning Frankie Ramos. Frankie, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I am surprised to see you here. Fancy you being here, huh? Welcome back.
Well, thank you very much. I did miss the last podcast, as you noted.
You did. And I feel bad that you missed it, because had you been there, I wouldn't have done my little singing. But since you weren't there, I had to do it. So.
Well, I heard you did a great job flying solo.
Thanks. But it's more fun having you here. So I'm glad you're back. Welcome back.
I am so glad to be back. I spent a year in PEO C4I, Program Executive Office C4I. It was a great experience. I really got to see the great work that corporate operations does from the customer perspective.
Okay.
And it was fantastic. It was a busy year, though. It flew by.
Not for me, it didn't. I was waiting for you to come back.
I'm glad to be back. And when I said the award-winning Frankie Ramos, you didn't really say anything, but I heard you're not just the director of HR for NAVWAR anymore. You're the award-winning director of HR.
Well, thank you for that. Yes, I was very surprised, and that's awesome accomplishment.
The Department of Navy Human Resources Community Leadership Award. Did I get that right?
Yeah. The Leadership Award.
What else have you won lately?
My kid won a couple of baseball games this weekend. I have like a little baseball hangover right now. I am dragging today. Baseball all weekend, and I'm like, it's Monday already? I need one more day off just to recover.
You also came in second place in the Navy for podcast, too.
We did. Yes, we did.
The royal we. Ramon,
that's right.
Kara,
our
you,
whole
me.
team. Yes.
It's a team effort.
Yep, it is a team effort. Our whole team. That actually was really cool. For calendar year 23 for the Department of Navy Public Affairs Awards. And they have a lot of different categories, but one of the ones that NAVWAR did really well in was the audio productions. The team that took first still was our NAVWAR family. NIWIC Atlantic took first with their Technically Speaking podcast. And then we came in headquarters, you and I, with Empowering Excellence with Art and Frankie, came in number 2. So I thought that was pretty cool.
You know me, I hate coming in second place. But if I'm going to come in second place to anybody, those guys at NIWIC Lant that do the Technically Speaking podcast, that's a pretty good podcast.
Yeah,
they're really good.
I know.
I think I also saw that Pacific is now doing a podcast as well.
They are. I haven't had a chance to listen to Pacific yet, but I will. But yeah, now all three of us got podcasts going, so that's great.
Well, so today, I think we're going to continue the discussion that you flew solo on last week on FEVS. Is that right?
We're going to continue the discussion about our 2023 Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey result. Nicole Taylor came in and talked to us a lot about the 3 areas of the FEVS that we scored number 1 in. This episode, we're going to focus on the last 2 areas that are measured in the FEVS, but they're the 2 areas that we didn't get number 1 in. But from my perspective, we're still doing really well because we are definitely within the top 5 of Navy in these 2 areas. So the 2 areas are Performance Confidence Index and Employee Experience Index, not to be confused with the Employee Engagement Index. For the Performance Confidence Index, NAVWAR scored number 4 in Navy. And then for the Employee Experience, NAVWAR scored number 2 in Navy. So we're still doing well, but we've always had a theme going through our podcasts about how we drive for innovation. We want to make employees have the best climate environment possible for them to innovate. And then also the other side of what we cherish at NAVWAR is continuous process improvement. What areas could we do better in? Scores of number 4 and 2 in Navy, not shabby, but there's indication there that we could maybe focus on some things, some efforts to maybe get those scores to also be number 1. So we wanted to make sure we closed out the episode on the topic of FEVS, focusing on the last 2 areas that we might have an opportunity to get some improvement in.
No, that's a great point. We are a get real, get better Navy. And I think that is one of the get real, get better leadership behaviors is we embrace the red. We look at those areas where we may not be number 1 and how can we do better. And I think that's a sign of a culture of excellence that wants to continually improve and not just rest on the fact that, oh, well, we were number one in these other 3 areas. So
Right.
what are the 2 areas again that we're looking at?
So our lowest scoring one was performance confidence, and that one basically takes into account the perspective of our employees who believe that NAVWAR has an outstanding competitive future. And this is based on innovative, high-quality products and services that are highly regarded by the marketplace. Now, I will go out and say Frankie's opinion is, because I worked for a lot of different places in Navy as a federal civilian, I would go so far to say that NAVWAR is probably the closest you'll get to having that industry-like experience than any other command I've worked for in Navy. I think we're very forward-leaning, and we do push the envelope to try and get as close to industry. Obviously, they're 2 different worlds. There's just some things in industry that we will never be able to do because we're federal. But I think NAVWAR does a darn good job of getting as close to it as they can.
Our leadership puts their money where their mouth is when it comes to looking after the employees, creating that work environment so that we can meet our mission and cultivate employees feel attached to the mission and they have a mission mindset.
Yeah.
So performance confidence was number 4 and employee experience was number 2. So those will be our topics today. And speaking of excellence, my understanding is we have an excellent NAVWAR employee, Sarah Doe from our engineering competency.
Yep.
Would you like to do the intro, Frankie?
We are welcoming Miss Sarah Doe, who is our NAVWAR Cyber Ready lead, and she works in the 5.0 engineering competency. Welcome, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Normally people are like, wait, really? I have to show up? We're like, yes, you do.
No, it's a great opportunity.
We want to hear your honest answers. Hopefully, maybe you'll even have some insights from your own experiences about how we can do better in these 2 areas.
Why don't we start off by telling us a little bit about what you do in engineering?
I work in the Office of Chief Engineers as the Cyber Ready lead to develop a cybersecurity risk methodology, focusing more on the mission risk of systems, just so we can better support the fleet. And that kind of leads into our development of our threat-informed mission risk assessment, our TIMRA methodology, which is basically a data analytics visualization capturing systems, vulnerabilities, and monitoring them over time and seeing how we can support the fleet from that perspective. So from a cyber readiness and mission risk mindset.
Looking at your role and the engineering competencies role as a whole, thinking about it in terms of performance confidence, which we've defined as the extent to which employees believe their organization has an outstanding competitive future. What do you think about that from a cyber perspective and your role and that mission and the importance of it to the Navy and to the nation?
Cybersecurity is very important just from a national security perspective and just from a fleet perspective as well. It's important for us to constantly be innovative in the cybersecurity world. We need to be ahead of that adversary because they're also trying to develop their own products. So we need to be innovative in that area as well. So I think it's very important.
Is the line of work that you're in, is it more geared towards defense, defending our networks, or are we looking for ways to get into adversary
I would say
networks?
It's more defending our networks. And hopefully we'll be able to use like AI, machine learning to predict what the adversary could potentially do and see which systems are most at risk.
Okay.
Yep.
Good thing I'm not doing that. I just do the people side.
Frankie, I just want to remind you from your annual cyber training, we're all cyber warriors.
We are. But if you want somebody doing that work of which one's
It's better that Sarah does it? Is that what you're saying?
It's better that Sarah's doing it, not Frankie.
I'm with you. It's better that Sarah does it. So Sarah, thinking about this from a engineering competency perspective, who do you guys consider your customer?
With our TIMRA data analytics visualization we're looking to support different types of users and different audiences. From like a NAVWAR perspective, we've been working a lot with the Command Information Office and working with several folks there on developing, because a lot of systems, they go into high risk reviews. So that just means that they're in high risk for an adversary, for example, to do something to the system. We've been working a lot with those folks there and on developing how can we depict in a manner that it's more data driven and it provides you analytics on and insight onto that system, and driving that accountability piece and driving that action for us to address those systems. So we've been working with them on developing like trending and analytics and different visualizations to support them when they go for those high risk review meetings.
I can tell you from having just spent a year at PEO C4I, the work that you're doing is incredibly important over there. And the systems that we're fielding completely dependent on making sure that we've secured those systems and are keeping bad actors from getting into our networks and doing harm. Thank you for the work you do.
Yeah, awesome.
Do you get direct feedback from the Marines and the sailors?
I do. So we've been on a few ships, the USS Abraham Lincoln, USS Tripoli, and USS Mustin, and talking to the information assurance teams, demoing our capabilities. And you can see that after the demo, a light bulb kind of pops up for them. Like, oh my gosh, like this actually can help me do my work because now I have a more focused view on what I can do.
Good. That's awesome. That's good to hear.
That is fantastic.
Just from my initial first day here, you could tell that everyone's very passionate about their jobs and they like the work that they're doing, and it's very influential on out on the fleet and the missions. I'd say it's a great place to work and it's very innovative and people are very open to new ideas.
That's great. That's good. See, people are open to new ideas. That's a good thing.
I feel like we've transitioned to employee experience now.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But then she even gave a nugget. So something that you said that was very valuable, I used a word. The work that we're doing is very influential on what's going on out in the fleet. Really what it boils down to is if you want to be part of something bigger than you yourself, joining the NAVWAR team and being able to have that really grand of an impact, that large of an impact on, essentially, it's the defense of our nation. That's what we're doing.
That's right.
Your team, 5-0, you guys are building things that our fleet, sailors, Marines, will require to ensure that they have the best foot forward to beat the adversaries and kind of predict what the adversary, what those bad actors are going to do. I love being able to say I work for NAVWAR. I love that you use the word influential, though. I haven't heard that been used yet. I hear passion a lot, but not influential. I like that.
I agree. I think everybody looks at their life and says, I want to be a part of something important. Someday when I'm ready to retire, I want to look back and know that I did something important. Maybe furthering a little bit on the employee experience side of things. What are your thoughts on our Distinguished Speaker series, our Wellness series? How do you feel about those type of programs and the offerings that we have for NAVWAR employees?
I think they're all great to get that more holistic view, I'd say, of NAVWAR and also informing the employees of what's out there and so that we can also be better people as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we take care of the employees, like she said, as a whole, right? We, of course, number one, professionally, we hired you for a job. You are the best. We selected you. But then once you're here, what can we, NAVWAR leadership, do for you to ensure that you're happy, you have what you need to thrive, you have what you need to be productive? Are you dealing with stress? Oh, yes. And yes, let's be honest. Like, we have a lot of our workforce who are at the forefront of some very heavy stuff. By nature of our mission. And so we've heard our workforce say, yeah, we're struggling with some stress. And so Mary Kate's team, our director of organizational development training, has done some really good work in getting a lot of different speakers to come in and talk to us about how to manage stress and how to, like, self-awareness to know that you're like, oh, might be getting real close to stress burnout. Okay, so what do we do with that? NAVWAR does a really good job of taking care of the entire person. I don't even want to say employee, of the person. They care about you not only professionally, what can we give you to continue to have your career grow, but also how can we take care of you as much as we can on the personal side so that you're in a good spot to do your best work. I think NAVWAR does a great job.
One of my mom's favorite quotes is like, you got to take care of yourself before you can help others. Yeah. NAVWAR kind of gives the employees that chance to do that, like especially if they're stressed or something, they give you different avenues to do that.
I like what you said, not employee, but the person.
Yeah.
We are all people, and people are NAVWAR's most important asset.
That's right. What are your perceptions of leadership, integrity, interpersonal relationships, anything that sticks out for you?
Dangerous question. I'm sure the chief engineer is fantastic, though.
That's right. That's right. That was not a trap, I promise.
From a general, overall NAVWAR leadership perspective, I think it's great. They're very well respected and they love what they do, and you can see that on the output that everyone's doing. And then just from a 5.0 perspective, you can tell that everyone's very passionate about it. And that's what I could tell on my first day. And everyone wants you to be successful. They're not going to deter you from doing something. They're all very supportive and everyone's all very smart and they have so much knowledge that they're willing to share. So that's really awesome that leadership will do that. And if there's other questions that I've had in the past or need help with, my supervisor, for example, he's just he'll leave that door open and kind of help you. He won't tell me what to do, but kind of help me guide. So that also helps me grow professionally as well.
Yeah, that coaching.
Yep.
Coaching and mentoring.
Yeah.
Yep. What would you say are the top 3 qualities that makes a great supervisor?
I would say trust is one, respect, and being open to ideas and change.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
What can you share with me that either your current leadership here at NAVWAR has done or even past leaders that you've worked for that have really stuck out for you in terms of, man, that person really motivated me to do my best work? What was it?
Highlighting the work that I do and how positive of an impact that it makes, and but just I think overall being positive and giving that space to mentor me on how I can be better.
What about your job and your role and your mission here at NAVWAR gives you the most satisfaction?
From the Cyber Ready Initiative perspective, it's awesome that I get to work on that. And once this initiative kind of sees the end result, it's going to be so impactful on the whole entire Department of the Navy. So I think that's a great opportunity for me to see. But then also from that perspective and a TIMRA perspective, we're making a difference to support the fleet better.
As one of the more, don't say old, but senior employees at NAVWAR, it really warms my heart to see the fantastic young employees that are coming to work for NAVWAR and support the Navy and NAVWAR mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to be around for a long time.
Well, speak for yourself. Sarah,
I'll be here for a while.
you're fantastic. This was really good. In closing today, I think we have some insights into one of our most awesome employees over employee experience and performance confidence, and how we can take a look at those things from our culture of excellence strategic objective and continue to go after those and make them better.
Yeah, we do. Thank you for your time and your insights. I appreciate it. Hopefully you had a good time. If any of you out there have some ideas for what you'd like to hear more about, we'd love to hear it. So reach out to me or Art or our public affairs team. And send your ideas our way. But we do have 2 or 3 in the queue that we're going to talk to our public affairs team. And so that was the closeout of 2023 FEVS results. So 2024 will be coming soon. That survey just closed.
So number 1 in the Navy. Remember, we're competitive.
We are competitive.
Who's our target for next year? NASA?
Yeah.
Shoot for the stars.
Because they're still number 1. That's right.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much, not only for being on our podcast, but for the great work that you're doing over in engineering.
Awesome. Thanks. Happy to be here.
We're happy that you came. That's it for this episode of Empowering Excellence. We look forward to next time. Everybody have a great day. Empowering Excellence with Art and Frankie is a production of the NAVWAR Headquarters Public Affairs Office in association with NAVWAR Corporate Operations. Our podcast production team includes Ed Disco Buckleton, Kara McDermott, and Ramon Go, our digital media specialist, who produced today's show. On behalf of Frankie and myself, I am Art Starrett. Have a great Navy day.